sailboat.
Is it?
Well, this is definitely the thickest fog we've ever been sailing in. Another sailboat just passed us going the opposite direction, less than 1/10 of a mile away, and we could barely make out his hull. You couldn't even see his mast. It's kind of cool. Kind of creepy, but I'm glad we have radar and AIS again.
Today we are sailing to Brado Lake, which is a lake at the very tip of Nova Scotia, and it's about 160 miles away, but so far so good. It is blowing a consistent 20 knots from the same direction, and it's been foggy all day. It's very, very foggy. It's also going to be an interesting passage because our Windex broke recently. Our theory is that there's a bird, when we were anchored in Halifax, a big bird landed on our Windex and broke it. So it's just gone. Here's something we have to add to the fixing list when we get to our next stop.
We've got dinner on the stove, rocking and rolling. You can use these life jackets inside and outside.
Yeah, some people just have a belt in the galley.
Right?
Then has a whole system in place.
Cracked my head once. Don't need to do it twice. I think it's almost ready though. You want some?
Yes, please.
Excellent. The stove is gimbaled and I'm gimbaled. Come a long way. Some leftover stew from a couple of weeks ago actually. But we have a freezer. So we don't have to eat all of our leftovers at the same time. Nice steamy, steamy goodness. So we passed that same catch on the way out. We were sailing, he was motoring. Looks like he's turned and he's motoring at slower speed than we're sailing. But yeah, he doesn't have AIS and he doesn't have his nav lights on, so we could barely see him, and he's less than half a mile away. I think he's about 0.15 miles away, and we couldn't even see him. So yeah, that's keeping watch is a little bit more, you got to stay a little bit more focused in the fog, let's put it that way. And Captain Kika maybe drank too much last night.
No, that's not why.
How you feeling?
A little bit nauseous. Because it's the first day.
Yeah? You going over the side, you think?
No, I don't think it's going to be that bad.
Good morning, guys. It is 5 o'clock in the morning. We've been sailing in fog for the past 18 hours or so, and everything is just wet. We've been going downwind, so the fog's just been blowing into the cockpit here, and just like everything is just, it's like dew. We've also been sailing a little bit slower than we originally predicted, because in the fog you just can't see anything. So we've been going nice and slow and steady, keeping it easy, keeping a good eye out and ear out. Foghorns on buoys and ships, very, very effective. You can hear them from miles and miles away. But radar has also been good, AIS has been good. But yeah, we're a little over halfway there. We've only got about 70 more miles to go, but at this speed it looks like we might get there at night. We'll see, but it's now daylight, so it's about time for Kika to go on watch, and I'm gonna go get some sleep.
I'm wearing all my offshore attire, including gloves, by the way, because it's not necessarily that cold, it's just that wet. But we are still going downwind at about 3.5 knots, so we're going pretty slow. Wind hasn't picked up at all. It's not a bad sail, it's comfy, other than the fact that it's foggy and wet. It's not too bad. We're starting to kind of drift away a little bit more offshore now, so as soon as Din wakes up, we're gonna have to jibe. I would have done it myself, but we have the pull out, which is a little bit tricky with one person, so I'll just wait for him to wake up and then we can kind of head back towards land a little bit more. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have this giant pimple that just came out of nowhere. It's like saying hello right on my face. Do you see this? It's so huge. So I've said it a couple of times, I do have a sensitive face, so if I don't sleep correctly, my face tends to break out. But you know, what can you do? It's the lifestyle. Nothing's perfect here.
I have another one.
Well, then just woke up.
I had a good nap.
Yeah.
Not even a nap, full sleep, 6 hours.
Yeah, it's been nice lately to do a 6-hour shift instead of 3, so that we can actually rest for quite some time. So we're gonna get ready to jibe.
We gotta put the main back up and then jibe and start heading towards the little peninsula and then in behind it where we're going. It does look like we're gonna get there at night though.
Yeah.
No matter how fast we sail there, we're gonna get there at night. All right, so we're gonna roll the Jenny with the pole on it.
Yeah.
And then you'll start pulling in the main and release the preventer while we kind of turn to port.
Yeah.
I'll rerun the preventer and then we'll roll out the Jenny. Sounds like a plan?
Sounds good.
All right, bye. Love you. Yep. It just broke right off.
Our whisker pole just broke, so a little bit of a change plans. Oh wow, that's it.
Yeah, just like snapped right off.
Look at this. That's crazy.
It was a shit whisker pole anyway, but like we're not gonna have a whisker pole for the cup, yeah. So.
You don't think we would have time to get one?
We could see if we can get something brought up to Burdor. Somebody might drive something up to Burdor for us. That thing just popped off like it was made out of ice. It's like click.
It's kind of crazy.
Done. The main will come across, and then it'll fill, and then we'll jibe the Jenny. No more whisker pole.
No more whisker pole.
It was a tiny, crappy, undersized, not meant for our boat whisker pole anyway, but it definitely still was a pretty useful piece of kit. It was actually one of the things that was on our list to replace in Norfolk to get a proper downwind pole, but yeah, we just didn't have the money to do it. They're not a very cheap piece of gear. So yeah, we might see if we can get some sort of replacement really quick while we're here at Burdor Lake. Or maybe get something shipped to St. John, but we only have maybe a week or so before we cross, so. It looks like we might finally be sailing out of the fog bank. Maybe. I see a little bit of blue sky, a little bit of sunshine. We're only about 2 miles offshore, so hopefully the fog will let up by the time we get in towards the lock. And hopefully we get some daylight left. I'm not sure we will though. What do you think about all the sunshine?
I love it, finally. It'll be also good to be able to see when we get to land, so.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get there at like 10 o'clock tonight. But look, you can see land. A little bit of land. We've only been about 8 to 10 miles offshore this whole time, but we couldn't see land at all because we had like 0.1 nautical miles of visibility or something. But yeah, we just sailed out of the fog bank and it's all blue skies and sunshine now. It's warm and delicious. There you Kind of still see it back there.
And we made it. As predicted, we got here in the middle of the night, but we just dropped our anchor in this perfect little anchorage right in front of the main lock. So we're going to eat some dinner and sleep, and tomorrow bright and early we'll enter the lake.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
It's gonna feel like Rio Dulce, maybe only different. I've never been through a lock before.
Yeah, this is going to be the first time that we're going to be entering a lock.
For sure.
So that's going to be a very interesting experience. But I'm excited. I'm also very exhausted.
And hungry.
And we're absolutely hungry. Good morning, guys. Today we are going through our very first lock ever. It is super sunny. I'm so happy we don't have to worry about fog or rain or anything like that. I also hope we have enough fenders, but today should be fun.
Should open it. St. Pete's Canal, St. Pete's Canal. This is sailing vessel Uma. Uma, do you copy?
Yes, we copy. Uma. Ready to reach the lake? Port side title.
All right, copy that. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. Yeah, there's a huge long wall before we get there to wait or to motor through. How you feeling?
Excited. This is gonna be fun.
Captain Kika's bringing us in.
I'll probably do the helm and then you can do the lines.
Sure.
Because then you'll be better at doing the lines.
We can do that. This is Captain Kika's nervous space.
That's my nervous face.
What?
What? Okay. Hopefully I don't break Uma. We go all the way to the end.
Yep. We made the first corner.
I know. This is our first test for the European canals.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of practice run.
Yeah, I don't remember how many canals there are in the locks going through Europe, but there's like hundreds. I mean, they're like every couple of miles there's another lock. So,
okay, so
this will be fun.
I don't know where to stop.
Like
at some point I'll have to stop. Is it where the metal plates are?
Past those metal plates, yeah.
Past the metal
The lock's
plates.
already open. So we're going to go in and stop, and then they're going to raise us or lower us. So these two metal gates are...
Is where it closes. Okay, so
Yeah.
as long as we're past those metal plates, we're in the lock. I can breathe for a second.
Good job, dude.
Walls are very forgiving. It's our 150th anniversary. We have certificates for everybody that passes
Oh,
through.
that's so cool.
Yeah, so you folks are boat number 522.
Nice.
Crack the neck wall to take pictures of like... Yeah, for us to go through. What do you think, Kika?
I think that was awesome. That was really cool.
We'll probably motor all the way to the marina. It's only like half a mile. We are entering the Brador Lake today, and we have to go through a lock because the water level in the lake is higher than the ocean, which is weird because the other end's open. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but should be fun. We're gonna go to a marina for tonight because we need some more water and to do some laundry, and there's a nice little marina right around the corner. So they just lifted our boat up 4 feet, and now we're waiting for the bridge to open so we can finish our little motor through this canal. It's pretty sweet. It's beautiful. It's sunny today too. It's nice. Good job, Captain Kika.
Yes. Every time that I say I need to practice, at the last minute, I kind of like chicken out and I asked him to take over the helm. You know, this time I said I was going to go through the log. I did. And I said I was going to go to the marina, and I did. And it wasn't as bad as I always thought it was.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Look at that.
But yeah, so we just made it in. We're going to go and check in with the office and do some laundry and fill up our water. Or another reason why we didn't anchor out today is because we realized there's salt water in our tanks.
That was very much my fault.
No,
I filled up
okay.
the water, and then I forgot to close it, and then like 5 days later, we went to go rinse off. So there's like muddy, gross, salty, semi-salty water in our tanks, which means we need to like completely dump them, rinse them out, sanitize them, put more water in.
Yes.
Not make that mistake while we're crossing the Atlantic Ocean. We have both of our tanks coming down to the bilge, and then they have two valves so we can shut one tank off at a time. And when we're crossing on longer passages, we usually have one shut off so we can kind of use it as a reserve. But on the old setup, we actually had a valve that we could open it up and dump it into the bilge if we needed to. But since this is PEX, we can just pull the fittings apart and drain it. And it's the lowest point, so they should both drain into the bilge and empty entirely. But it feels weird dumping like 60 gallons of fresh water into our bilge. It feels very wasteful, but since it is either contaminated or maybe we just got some nasty hose water from the last marina, it's kind of hard to tell. It just, something about it just doesn't taste right. So it's much safer just to dump it and start from fresh. When we did laundry, Kika?
Maybe
A month?
2 months ago.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 washing machines full.
In our defense, these are kind of small. Looks like we're here on the right day. I hear music. Apparently there's a concert going on at the marina tonight, so we're gonna go check it out.
Mocking me, you pay the fee. No returns and no receipt. Do what I gotta do. I'm never gonna pout. And I hope that I would have been the end of it, and I'm out. But they never tend to give me the benefit of the doubt.
Cheers, guys.